So thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you've checked out all the other best practices that we have published. And especially, if you're looking at upgrading a WMS or getting a brand new WMS or switching from one WMS to other WMS, or even, looking for data collection technologies, right? Including voice, you should definitely, check out all the best practices that we have in our YouTube channel. So this video is about replenishments, right? It's very important to stay on top of replenishments. And if you have just one shift you're running, it would help a lot to have just few extra hours, spend few extra hours in the evening, and then do top off replenishments, top off all your active locations. The next morning when the pickers come, all the locations are full, and they can start picking right away, right? And if you have two shifts running, maybe in the second shift later, or even have a third shift if possible, and keep doing the top off replenishment. Because the way it works is, right, obviously there are active locations, and these active locations have min and max, and whenever your inventory falls below min, replenishments are going to be triggered. Or if there is a order that needs a lot of picks from this location, and that's going to drive the location down, that will also trigger a replenishment, right? So you will get possibly, three priority replenishment: priority 40, priority 50, priority 60. Priority 60 is always top off. So, if it's there, always complete the replenishment. Never cancel your replenishment task. That is another big lesson that people have learned, many times. And typically, as soon as you turn on a WMS, it's tough to get a handle on this replenishment. But once you see all the effects, or erratically you're like running into issues where, somebody canceled the replenishment, or for some reason, the replenishments were not done quickly and immediately, you are like stuck with those orders that are not completely picked, because there is to be filled that's come to the location, and, there is no inventory that came in, right, which was supposed to be there, and because the inventory has been allocated for the order against that purportedly coming inventory, right? That's how you get it to be filled. So, that's priority 60, and then priority 40 and priority 50. Priority 40 is, before picking. That is, they have to be done before picking. Only then, by the time the pickers go to the location, you will see inventory right there, right? So the priority 40 have to be completed immediately, as soon as possible. And then as priority 40s are completed, then get on to the priority 50s, because those are during picking. Because what could happen is the picker had to make multiple rounds to the same location. He picked some and there was not enough space. So there was another priority 50 that was triggered, and then the priority 50 gets executed. Then the picker comes and picks up the rest of the units, right? And then the priority 60 is always there, but still you cannot just create a replenishment and then just leave it there. You have to finish it, because, the to be filled is going to be allocated as if the product is there already, right? So that's why it's very important to, stay on top of replenishments, and especially when you're, just implemented a WMS, you're not going to know all this. It's going to take, a few weeks just to get that understanding and see the impact of the replenishments in your processes, and then get that right. Then people will be like, oh my God, I got to do this replenishment. I got to make sure all these replenishments complete. Then what happens is, then they stay on top of the replenishments even more effectively, doing this, top of replenishment later in the, second shift or third shift. So that way, the next day morning, when pickers come and orders are, if they have product that is sitting in the active location to pick those product from, right? So the best practice here is that stay on top of replenishments while you're executing. Stay on top of your replenishment. Even dedicate a couple of people for those replenishments, and make sure, right, the product shows up at the active location. So that way, when the pickers come, the product is really there. And manage those priority 40, priority 50, and priority 60. And also, you could do one more thing. If there is an order that needs to be fulfilled, you could even bump up that priority 40 to priority 30. So what the priority helps is, that becomes the hottest task. Whoever, replenisher that's executing, he will pick it up right away. I mean, this needs, task management to work, or at least, he can, if he is doing based off of reports, if it's not a huge facility, you could have that marked off as the first thing that needs to be done, right? So that's the, we'll talk about task management eventually. That's another, best practice to implement, just slightly more complicated. You have to be careful with that, especially with interleaving, right? So, that's it. That's the a message. So the message is, stay on top of your replenishments. Never ever cancel your replenishment tabs, and proactively, do replenishments, especially priority 60. So that way, you are not making the pickers wait. You're not, the replenishers are not making the pickers wait. So by the time the pickers go to the location, the product is really there and they can pick up, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Please share your comments, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. And of course, check out all the other best practices we have. Thank you.